responses to comments, aka bad Java. J and B. Such and such person was hired by the Vatican to translate text and uncovered some real interesting correlations to the Sumerians. They might have fired him because he was uncovering something that didn't fit traditional texts. The Vatican and skullduggery? Or skullbuggery? Ooh, that's inconceivable. So, thank you for the commentary. I'll be looking into that. Next. That may be a claim by this individual. Then again, maybe not. We never know. The trouble is, well, we probably will know. Just that you don't know about it until people stop covering stuff, especially their own butt. Got a compliment. Keep doing my thing. Various other things I'm not going to mention because they're embarrassingly nice. Thank you. I'm not used to this. Next, the Bible and or other texts, by the way, mirrors ancient Sumerians or ancient other groups. We borrow from others. We stand on the shoulders of giants, or at least what we think are giants. Yes. This is something I've noticed too. And again, what was that joke I did? It's a joke. That's a term I use in computers and electronics. A joke is something that makes you laugh even though you want to cry. Not something funny necessarily. Very often, 90% of the work is finding out whether or not you're looking at something that's real. The other half is determining whether or not you're able to determine this. Especially about history. Causation, correlation, and corroboration aren't what they're stacked up to be sometimes. Finally was able to make some vids with those pics I wanted you to look at. CS, thank you. I'm going to repeat something that was told to me by someone named Casey Neistat, because he told everybody this, but for a different reason, and it was told to him for this specific reason. Just keep uploading. Or as a writer would say, just keep writing. Don't revise anything. Rewrite things. It'll make you a better writer. Or a movie maker. Just shoot the damn scene again. 80% of the time after you think you got it perfect, you go back to the first or second one because really you're a fool, but you find it out only when you observe yourself objectively. Just keep uploading. And also, the caveat. I may be wrong or right. I'm willing to be either, but I'm not willing to be insulted over it. Don't take insults. Even if they come from me, I might call you an asshat about something. But then again, you don't have to take an insult. You can ignore it. There's a difference between... Yeah. So, J and B, thanks for the compliments and an interesting little tunnel to dig in. Maybe I should be called the Gopher or the Wabbit. Anyway. They're just daffy. Next. Yeah, I'm going to be reviewing CS's vids because who knows? Trust me, with as many billions or millions of eyes that we have on this planet using cell phones, I can tell you the next great discovery may not be made by $1 million telescope. Just happened to be a camera pointed the right direction during a supernova or a gamma ray burst. In the former versus the latter, you could become famous later. The latter, you'd become a decimal point or an exclamation point. SIs. Speak informatively. I can understand you very well on your subjects. Hardest part of doing a video for the billionth time is being understandable. You can be an academic, use special speak, newspeak, or technical wording and not be understood, and no one will ever benefit from what you say. Or in the words of Thunderfoot, publish a paper, get it reviewed and seen by 5 people, or put up a YouTube video with all your information linked to it, and have it seen by millions in some cases, in his case. Finally. He's able to get to people by being able to tell them something valuable. That's why he got attacked. By the way, to CS, you know you're doing something useful when people try to take down your videos unscrupulously. Make a backup channel. Don't let any videos be visible. You can even name it after yourself. I'd recommend naming it after nom de plume. Also, I'm going to be doing a video on how to redact your life so that you're not trackable. Not that I've lived this. Anyway, from SIs, you don't sensationalize your content. You factualize your content. This appeals to me, and you raise good points. And I said, and he says, I'm here to learn and that's all. And I said, so am I. That's the best part of the usage of the net that I can think of in its original purpose. And see how that all went pear-shaped, all the advertisers. I should remind that the evil and the good of it is that people like Bill Gates made it to where there would be advertisements instead of a fee. Instead of spending money on your bandwidth, spend time swatting ads. It's annoying, but it's much more accessible. And you can always block them like I do. Michelle Maybell W. Commentary or Special Terry. Here are the sources, and here's a science link, to be fair, on BC and AD, or current era, etc. Okay, dear scientists, I understand that we have a screwed up timing system. There's an entire video I'm going to be posting a link to below that explains why, actually several of them, that explains why us measuring time, a natural phenomenon that we're able to perceive over short and long terms, is never consistent and never truly precise. It's accurate, it's good enough, and unless you want to adopt binary, that's a joke you got to watch all the videos for, you're not going to make a system that will outlive the planet. And even then, it won't outlive the heat death of the universe. But by then, there won't be any planet orbiting the sun, so it won't matter, because that's how we measure a year, supposedly. That's an interesting subject. I would do a video on it. I've done it. Don't have to. 2 or 3 videos after watching, you'll get it totally. And it'll depress the snot out of you. Broken clock isn't right twice a day. But anyway. But yeah, seriously, it's BC and AD, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We pick an arbitrary time and space. We just marked it, membered it, and that's it. So anyway, next, the question, not really attempting to be, but, you know, you're right, it is the question of the day. It's specifically unrelated to the links I add, but since you lean more on the atheist belief system, not a belief system, it's a different thing, but you're very close to it, that's fine. Or maybe more of a philosophical... No. Or a logical position. I used to be a philosopher. I'll admit this. I don't have a PhD in philosophy. I don't want one. I'm not going to go pick up any piece of paper. Screw that. Philosophy is a doily on a bowling ball. No more. Logical, I learned... I took classes because of what I do and what I became and what I was turning myself into, which I didn't know what it was. In logic and reasoning. There's actual classes on logic. Pure logic. Anything rigorous is meaningless. There's a joke there, and look up where the word rigor comes from. It ain't rigor mortis in tenon. Anyway, and I don't believe in Christ, apparently. No. Okay, let's see here. My logical position is, I don't know if there was a Jesus Christ or many people who were modeled to become the mythos of Jesus Christ or a single individual. We're missing so much data that there's no way to prove this or disprove either way. There's a high likelihood of more than one person being the prototypical model for what we call Christ. Whether or not there's an actual Son of God has not been proven to me, so I don't have the reason to believe that it exists, that this individual exists. But then again, I don't have a reason to doubt or confirm the Mary Magdalene stories either. This is called reality, and it is extremely constrained. However, leaps of faith are not. Semi-aquatic ape was my favorite hypothesis, by the way. I liked it. It was wrong, but I liked it. What year do you write on your calendar? Rephrased. What year do you live in? I look forward to the answers. I've always wanted to ask an atheist that, but I've never had any opportunity. Take care of that cough. And by the way, you have... Yeah, I noticed that too. Too many subscribers. I don't pay attention to the subscriber count. But when I do, I don't obsess over it either. As for the cough, I have a permanent upper respiratory issue that will never go away. The only way this can be repaired is for a heart-lung transplant. I would have to literally replace it. Or, if they just get off the stick, being able to harvest stem cells from a person, grow a new body part in a container by triggering them in a manner that is extremely similar to procedural generation in a computer. If we ever get to the point that we're able to crack the code and decompile human DNA and growth patterns, and if we concentrated on learning it, we would. It would just take a couple hundred years because we're stupid monsters as humans. We'd be able to regrow me, literally, just a new set of lungs and a windpipe. That's not much. Pro tip, don't ever get your genetics tested. I'm not compatible with any human beings that exist except in my own family, which means someone I know personally would have to die and donate their lungs and heart. I'm not doing it. But every day I'm getting better and better. I'm very cavalier about life for many, many reasons. That's just one of them. But, yeah, this is a permanent condition if you're curious. I sound like I have a smoker's cough. Can't smoke. I can't even have hot sauce normally. Although I do anyway because I love Mexican food. But anyway, what time do we live in? Okay, as you might have already heard from my hint before, we arbitrarily assign time and date stamps to things. And then ignore the standards we use every time we put up a page on NASA's website because Y2K apparently was not a big deal to these idiots. 2-digit years piss me off. But anyway, we're in AD, Adonanum, and I just called after death. We didn't know that literally, I don't use the literal translation, but we're AD. And it's not after. I gotta say this, even though it sounds really coarse and evil. In order for our calendar to work, we need to qualify the time as BC, before Christ, and AC, after Christ, after his birth. Not his death. I don't like the idea of celebrating a person's death as a time marker. He started the AD, he should finish it. Oops, he did. Maybe. Schrodinger's godson. But anyway, yeah, we're in AD. This is one of those things that's a major pet peeve. If you've ever done time calculations and had to deal with the myriad of different calendars mixing together, you know as well as I do, this is really, really a perfect. This is the poster. No. This is the kid on the side of the milk carton of how humans do things. Time. I really love watching Doctor Who. It reminds me of how screwed up this is because you're not necessarily time traveling. You're just redeclaring dates. But if you're curious, this is the year of our Lord 2016, plus or minus 10 days, depending on how you wish to calculate it. Stupid popes. But anyway, yeah, I'll include the links below just to this subject because, yeah, that is the question of the day because I was going to do a video on this. What's funny is watching someone literally explain what should have been explained a long time ago so they'd understand why time is wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. So anyway, well, that's as far as the instructions go. I don't know what happens after this. It just sort of trails off. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.